What do you do when you're the only one still fighting for your marriage? Your spouse has checked out. Maybe they've stopped talking. Maybe they said the words, "I'm done." And you're sitting there heart-shattered, wondering if one person can actually save a marriage alone. The answer might surprise you. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to pull your marriage back from the edge, even when your spouse has completely given up. If you're watching this, I want you to know something first. You are not crazy for still wanting to save this. You are not weak. You are someone who made a commitment, and that matters. Here's what's happening in your marriage right now. One of you has emotionally withdrawn. They've stopped trying, stopped engaging, maybe stopped caring, at least on the surface. And you're left holding the weight of the entire relationship by yourself. That is an exhausting and lonely place to be. Research shows that in most marriages that end, one partner emotionally disconnects long before the other even realizes there's a serious problem. Sometimes by years. So if your spouse seems checked out, it doesn't always mean the marriage is over. It often means the pain got too big and they didn't know what else to do. And that is something you can actually work with. Point 1, stop chasing, start grounding. Here's the first thing most people get completely wrong in this situation. When your spouse pulls away, your instinct is to chase, to push harder, to talk more, explain more, beg more. It feels like love, but to your spouse it feels like pressure. And pressure makes a withdrawn person retreat even further. I've seen couples where one partner sent dozens of text messages a day trying to reconnect, and every single message pushed the other person further into silence. Not because they didn't care, but because the pursuit felt overwhelming. Here's what you do instead. You ground yourself. You stop reacting from panic and start acting from intention. When your spouse is cold or distant, you don't escalate. You stay calm. You stay present. Your action step for today. The next time your spouse shuts down, don't follow them into the argument or chase them into the silence. Take a breath. Say, "I'm here when you're ready," and mean it. That one shift changes the entire dynamic. Point 2, understand what "I'm done" usually really means. Now this next one surprises a lot of people. When a spouse says, "I'm done," or "I don't love you anymore," they are almost never describing a fixed, permanent truth. They are describing how they feel right now, in this moment, after months or years of accumulated hurt. I've seen couples where a spouse said those exact words, and 2 years later they were genuinely rebuilding. Because what "I'm done" really means in most cases is, I am exhausted. I don't believe anything will change. I've run out of hope. That is not the same as permanent. That is a cry for something different. But here's what most people don't realize. You can't argue someone out of that feeling. You can't convince them with words. The only thing that shifts "I'm done" into maybe is consistent, visible change over time. Your action step for today: stop defending yourself or explaining your past behavior. Ask one genuine question instead. What would have to be different for you to feel hopeful again? And then, actually listen. Point 3, become the safest person in the room. And this is where it gets really important. Most struggling marriages aren't short on love. They're short on emotional safety. Your spouse doesn't feel safe being honest with you. They don't feel safe being vulnerable, so they shut down completely instead. I've worked with couples where both people still loved each other deeply, but every conversation turned into a debate, a defense, or a shutdown. So they stopped talking altogether, not out of hatred, out of self-protection. If you want to save your marriage alone, your most powerful tool is becoming the safest person your spouse has ever known. That means no criticism, no scorekeeping, no "but what about what you did." When they talk, even if it's angry, you listen without defending yourself. When they're struggling, even if they won't show it, you acknowledge it without making it about you. Your action step for today: choose one conversation this week where you commit to listening completely. No interrupting, no defending, no problem solving. Just listen and watch what that does. Point 4, work on yourself like the marriage depends on it, because it does. Now, here's the part most couples get completely wrong. When you're trying to save a marriage alone, you cannot spend all your energy focused on your spouse. You have to focus on yourself. Not in a selfish way, in the most strategic, powerful way possible. Here's why. Your spouse checked out because something in the relationship stopped working. Maybe communication broke down. Maybe they felt unseen, unappreciated, or criticized for years. You may have played a role in that, even without meaning to. The couples I've seen turn things around, every single one of them had at least one partner who did serious inner work. Therapy, reading, reflection, real honest self-examination. I've seen couples where one spouse started individual therapy, not couples counseling, just for themselves. And within months, they were showing up so differently that their partner started to notice, started to soften, started to come back. Your action step for today. Book one appointment, a therapist, a coach, or even a trusted mentor. Not for the marriage, for you. Because the most powerful thing you can bring back to your relationship is a healthier, calmer, more self-aware version of yourself. I want to tell you about a woman I'll call Rachel. Rachel came to me after her husband David told her he wanted a separation. He was emotionally shut down, monosyllabic answers. Slept in the guest room. She was terrified. She felt like she was invisible in her own home. Instead of panicking, Rachel made a choice. She stopped arguing. She stopped pleading. She started showing up calmly, consistently, differently. She went to therapy. She stopped chasing him for reactions. She started asking questions instead of making accusations. It took 4 months. 4 hard, uncertain months. But David started noticing. He came back to the dinner table. He started talking again, not because Rachel fixed him, but because she changed the environment of the marriage. She made it safe enough for him to come back. That is what one person can do. So let's bring it home. First, stop chasing and start grounding yourself. Second, understand that I'm done usually means I'm exhausted, not it's over. Third, become the safest, calmest presence in your marriage. And fourth, do the inner work on yourself because that is where real change begins. Which of these 4 resonated most with you today? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're dealing with a spouse who's emotionally shut down and won't communicate at all, I have a video specifically on emotional stonewalling. Watch that one next. If this helped you, subscribe to Stay or Leave. I post new videos every week, and because you deserve real answers, not empty reassurance. You've got this.